Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Hey, we did this video a couple of nights ago, which talked about ATF's new open letter to FFLs as it related to the Polymer80 lowers and other types of 80% lower frames for Glock-style striker-fired pistols. Now, that had a lot of you in a complete panic mode. Oh my God, is the ATF going to be kicking in my door all of a sudden because I have one of these? And it prompted a lot of questions. And rather than get into the comment section and try to answer all of them, I figured I'd do a follow-up video, bring you guys some more clarification. I apologize for not making things clearer to you. That's what we try to do here at Washington Gun Law. So today I'm going to take a couple of the most common questions that all of you are asking about the effect of this open letter on these Polymer80 lowers and get them answered for you. So let's spend a few very important minutes today and talk about what does ATF's open letter on Polymer80 frames really mean to you? Okay, before we get going down the road we're going down, proud to announce that this video is being brought to you by Legal Heat. That's right, America's largest educator of concealed carry classes. Legal Heat, since their inception in 2005, has now taught over 200,000 people nationwide. Listen, for all my viewers in Washington State, you can find a class at any one of these locations right here. If you're living outside the state of Washington, congratulations, chances are you are living much freer than us, but you too can find a class somewhere close to your backyard by visiting them at mylegalheat.com. That's mylegalheat.com. Now listen, if you find a class and you want to sign up, go ahead and use the promo code Washington Gun Law. That is Washington Gun Law, all one word, and you will receive 10% off that class. So for more information, visit them at mylegalheat.com. Okay, so the issue we're talking about again today is this open letter right here, which was issued to FFLs this week, as it relates to Polymer80 lowers for Glock-style striker-fired pistols and other similar manufacturers making similar products. As you recall, the ATF, just to jump to the punchline here, has determined that these frames standing alone with the amount of work that's already been done, the amount of milling, and particularly that the fire control group can be so easily installed, standing alone that these constitute firearms, okay? And that means that there is some big changes coming your way for those of you who want to buy any of these kits, and then there may be some changes for those of you who already own them, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so everyone's going to be breaking down into one of two categories here. The first one is I want to buy one of these, and the second one is I already own one of these, and let's break them both down. Okay, now what effect does this letter have on for those of you who want to buy one of these? Well, it doesn't have a tremendous amount of effect on your ability to get one, unless you are otherwise disqualified from possessing a firearm. Because with ATF's determination that these constitute frames standing alone, which that means they constitute firearms standing alone, and I'm not saying I agree with ATF's determination. I'm not saying that this determination is going to hold up. I'm saying as it sits right now with that determination, what it means is if you want to buy one of these P80 kits or any of the other kits that we described in this video right here, you're going to be filling out a form 4473. You're going to be going through a background check. You're going to be jumping through any of the hoops that your state has placed upon you above and beyond that to purchase these things. These things will essentially constitute completed firearms, okay? That is the effect regardless of what state you are in. Now, there are some states that may make the purchase of unserialized firearms in and of themselves illegal right out of the gate. And if you reside in one of those states, there probably is additional state laws that will complicate this process. But federally speaking, what this means to you is you're filling out a 4473. You're going through this as if you're purchasing any other regular firearm. Now, for those of you who already own one, I know this is a big question. Oh my God, do I got to take this thing out and get it serialized right now? Oh my God, is ATF going to come kicking my door in, shooting my dog, and grabbing my Polymer80? Okay, this is a little bit more complicated answer, and it's going to have to deal with two different spectrums by which we have to view this. One is through federal law, and the other one is through your state law, okay? Now, on the federal law side, we have Rule 2021R-05F, which is ATF's new rules on frames and receivers. And we know that, according to the ATF's new rule, any unserialized firearm, personally made firearm, as the ATF rule refers to them, does not need to be serialized. Let me say it again. Does not need to be serialized unless that firearm goes into the inventory of an FFL, which means if you take an otherwise unserialized firearm to a gunsmith, an FFL, or something like that, and it's staying overnight, which means it's going into their inventory, it's being entered into their books, then that firearm is not going to be returned to you until, one, it's been serialized, and two, you've gone through a background check to get your own gun back. So, under federal law, if you have one of these P80 kits or a firearm which was built from a similar type frame, do you need to rush out and immediately have these things serialized? The answer is no, you do not under federal law. However, there is state law, and I'm going to use my state, Washington State, as an example. This past legislative session, we passed House Bill 1705, which then, of course, created RCW 9.41.326, which is a whole new set of regulations as it relates to untraceable firearms. The federal rule calls them privately made firearms. Washington State calls them untraceable firearms. Either term is better than ghost guns, okay? Now, what Washington State's law says is, as of the effective date of this legislation, which was July 1st of 2022, you can no longer manufacture any type of untraceable firearm. So there is a question as to the legality of manufacturing any firearm from a P80 lower in Washington State effective July 1st of this year. However, the law also states that if you have any unserialized firearm, those firearms must be serialized by March 10th of 2023. Okay? Now, I know some of you in Washington State are freaking out. Oh my God, I got a bunch of these guns. Am I going to have to run out and make every one of my untraceable firearms now traceable? The answer to that is it depends. Because there is one gigantic loophole in Washington's law. We've done a video on it right here, which is an untraceable firearm under Washington State law is defined as any firearm which does not have a serial number and that was manufactured on or after July 1st, 2019. That means that if you have a handgun that was made from a P80 lower but was made prior to July 1st, 2019, Washington State law does not even apply to that. If that firearm was manufactured by you, assembled by you sometime after July 1st, 2019, yes, you will need to have that firearm serialized no later than March 10th of 2023. Now, the last question you're asking is, how the hell do they know whether it was pre or post July 1st, 2019? The answer to that question is they really don't, and that's their problem, not yours. So, moving forward, if you want to buy one of these Polymer80 or similar type 80% frames for striker-fired Glock-style handguns, ATF has determined that each and every one of those, standing alone, constitutes a frame, which constitutes a firearm, which means you will be filling out a background check, Form 4473, all that good stuff to purchase one of those. For those of you who currently own one of these, from a federal standpoint, you will not need to serialize it unless they end up in the inventory of an FFL. On state level, it's going to vary greatly depending on states. Washington State, you may or may not have to serialize them depending on when that firearm was acquired and made by you. Listen, you're likely to have more questions about this open letter as it relates to these frames. And if you do, you can always contact us at WashingtonGunLaw.com, or of course you can call us directly at 425-765-0487. In the meantime, let's remember, part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here at Washington Gun Law, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe.